we're past the midway point of the season officially. It's time to talk about some midseason awards. I want to start with who you think at this point is your most surprising team of the year in a positive tone.
Well, I got to be Kirko and the Vikings, followed closely by Salah and the Jets in Seattle. You know, it's a bunch of teams, but the Vikings are 7-1 right now, and they're on the roll halfway at the midway point. They're 7-1. So nobody, I don't think, in this league would have thought Minnesota Vikings would be 7-1 and in control of the NFC North and 4.5 games up on Green Bay in the Aaron Rodgers Invitational that was the NFC North. It's cool to see, though. It's cool, especially with Kevin O'Connell being a first-year head coach. You know, you always have question marks there, but he's answering the bell.
They're going to be doing the skull chant deep into January. Richard, on the opposite side of this fence, the most disappointing team of the year.
That's a toss-up. I mean, it could be Green Bay. It could be Tampa Bay. It could be the Raiders. You know, I mean, the AFC West in general is disappointing because the AFC West is supposed to be what the AFC East has been, or the NFC East has been. You know, it's supposed to be a juggernaut and a bunch of wins in that conference. And you're looking up and you're not having it. I think the Raiders have 2 wins. So there are plenty of teams. I mean, you talk about Tom and Aaron, you're expecting those guys to have success, and they're not having it. The Rams, they just won the Super Bowl. You know, I mean, you got to be disappointed in them.
Now, this one, I feel like it's pretty obvious, but in your eyes at least, but coach of the year thus far, Rich.
That is not obvious. If it was obvious, I'd give it. But because I want to give it to Salah, I want to give it to Pete, his old quality control, Pete's old quality control. Salah and Pete up there. But Kevin O'Connell, 7-1. You know, you got to put him in the discussion. You got to put Daboll in it. They're 6-2. Giants are still 6-2 and still competitive in the NFC East. So there's a lot of great candidates for Coach of the Year. I selfishly want to give it to Pete or Salah, but Kevin O'Connell is definitely in it.
Defensive Rookie of the Year. Do we even have to bring this up?
I mean, unless you want me to do my sauce rhymes, it's sauce. It's more of a discussion than it has been. He's in a big city, but Tariq Woolen is still leading the league in interceptions. Well, he's second in the league in interceptions now. C.J. Gardner-Johnson got one the other night, so he's second in the league in interceptions, but still having a really great season.
Are we staying in Seattle for the Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Well, I'm probably going to keep it to Kenneth Walker III. It would have been Breece Hall running away with it had he just stayed healthy, but he did not. So there's an argument for Charles Cross, you know, the left tackle. It's not a stat business at the tackle position for a rookie to come in and play left tackle in this National Football League and do as well as he's done. Something to be said.
There's funny with Kenneth Walker III, and I know I love him. I've loved him since last year when he was playing with the Spartans, Rich. But like, this is a guy that's going to become a household name, specifically because he's going to win over the hearts of fantasy football owners, right? I mean, anyone that scooped him up a waiver wire or drafted him late in their drafts is going to immediately know who Kenneth Walker III is. This guy is a stud. Kenneth Walker, keep doing what you're doing, buddy. Defensive Player of the Year, Rich.
I want to still go with Bosa. Bosa is still my pick. He was my preseason pick. I'm still going with him. But Matthew Judon is having a great year. Who I just spoke up, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, on that Eagles team. Between him and Slay, they're gonna have a hard fought debate about who's going to be in that race, and they're probably going to steal votes from each other. So neither of them will probably get it. But they're in it. If C.J. Gardner-Johnson keeps playing the way he is, he's going to be in it. Slay's going to be in it. Yeah, those are my picks right now, but I still got Bosa.
I might as well couple it together. Offensive Player of the Year / MVP of this league. Who you got hosting that award?
Well, those 2 different awards, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a dogfight at the end. I think Josh Allen is still the front runner for that. I think it's going to be hard not to put him in a discussion for Offensive Player of the Year and Player of the Year. I mean, and MVP.
What does Jalen Hurts have to do to enter that conversation in your eyes, Rich?
He's going to have to do a lot more. He's going to have to throw for more touchdowns, run for more touchdowns. He's doing a great job with his team and winning ball games. But you got Tariq out there in Miami, purely dominant. He has more receiving yards than teams. Tua is throwing his hat in the ring. I mean, since he's come back from the concussions, he's been freaking lighting it up. I think he's got got 596 yards over the last 2 games past the sticks on the season. And you talk about what he's doing for that offense and that team. He's definitely going to be in discussion. So I guess Offensive Player of the Year, probably Tariq, MVP, Josh Allen.
Second half projections. Where do you see this all netting out in terms of the teams at the end? I want just simply put, who do you see the final 4 teams standing? Who's playing in the AFC, NFC championship games? Who's going to the Super Bowl and who's taking her home?
I mean, NFC championship game, I can see an Eagles-Niners. I still think the Niners are going to be there. I think they're going to get, like they always do, get healthy at the right time. Guys are going to be firing on all cylinders. Kyle's going to be calling his best stuff, and it's going to be a fun game to watch. The AFC side, you would hope a repeat of the Chiefs-Bills, but I'm not sure that's going to happen. I think it's going to get chaotic like it did last year, where you have a dark horse team like the Bengals did last year, and they sneak through and win those clutch ball games and make huge plays right when they need to. But who do I want to put there? Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs. Mitch, turnaround team. A turnaround team, I think, is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they're going to right the ship. I think Tom's going to find a way to get it done. I think the team that's going to fall off will likely be maybe the Giants. They don't have a super tough schedule, but the way they've been winning games wasn't as sustainable. And I think people are going to have answers to the run game of Saquon and Daniel Jones. And Wink is a tough one. He's made their defense really dynamic, but I think offensively they're gonna find themselves a lot more limited.
The Seattle listener base is going to be wondering, what is the ceiling for this team? I mean, can they be this year's Cincinnati Bengals, or do you just not see that with this team?
I can't put it past it. You know what I mean? Because their defense is actually playing really well. Their defense has turned it around. You look at Big Al Woods is playing well. Jordan Brooks is playing well. The corners, these young corners, are gaining more confidence by the game. They took 2 turnovers from Kobe Bryant. They took a forced fumble and an interception away from him. I mean, I'd be pissed. He's already leading the league in forced fumbles. Tariq was leading the league in interceptions for a while. Now he's second. You still got Quandre Diggs back there making a big time impact. And Wusu is 4 sacks over the last 2 games. My boy Big Bruce is back. Bruce Irvin creating. He had a sack last week, but his veteran impact, his veteran leadership, his calming demeanor, you got to appreciate all that. And offensively, Geno, his leadership is shining through. Not just his play, but his leadership and his calming resolve. And you look up, and guys like Noah Fant, Shelby Harris had a sack in that game, a big time sack. These guys that came over that were supposed to be just throw-ins in the Denver Broncos trade are making huge impacts for this team, and they're having fun. I mean, Noah Fant had a 51-yard catch where a lot of it was yak yardage. Shelby Harris had a big sack, and he had a big play in the game before. So you look at this team, and you're saying, hey, these guys are playing selfless. They're having fun. They're buying into the culture. The sky's the limit, really.
They're winning in commanding fashion too, Rich. I mean, that's the separator from them, like in a team like the Giants, right? I mean, the Giants were just squeaking by, and finally they got bit when they went to Seattle. But it's like, here's a team, the last couple games, they've won. I mean, the Arizona game, again, they controlled it. They look like the better team by far through every quarter of that game. And this is a team, we're going to see what they do this upcoming week in Germany. Obviously, a big test for them. Going against TB12, so the challenges continue. Let's prove it again. 6-3, but you got to prove it again. That gets to the next point. I know Seattle fans are going to wonder, when the heck are we going to see him in the top 5 of Richard Sherman's power ranks? Rich, what is your top 5 power ranks after week 9?
Metro, it gets shuffled at the top for the first time in a long time. It gets shuffled, but at the top, it's still the same. It's the Eagles. Then it'll go the Chiefs, because Buffalo taking that L to Salah and the boys. You got to fall.
The Fighting Salahs.
The Fighting Salahs. And then, surprisingly, the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings, then the Buffalo Bills. I cannot yet put Seattle there. I want to put them there. I cannot yet put them there. I think they are a really good team. I think they're going to that. They're probably 6 in my rankings, but unfortunately, I have to put the Dallas Cowboys there with the way they're running the ball. Again, if Tony Pollard's the lead back.
Tony Pollard, our boy. So, Richard, before we sign off, Frank Reich has been fired by the Indianapolis Colts. Talk about a disappointing team this year. I mean, this was a team you expected to compete for the division. Matt Ryan's on board, maybe a dark horse candidate in the AFC to make some noise. And talk an utter disappointment. Surprisingly, they bench Matt Ryan for Sam Ehlinger. And today they fire Frank Reich in favor of Jeff Saturday. First off, impressions of this move. And then I want you to talk about, here's a guy with 0 coaching experience. Obviously, people love him. He's a media personality. He had a hell of a career, centering Peyton Manning. But what does Jeff Saturday have to do to win over this locker room? And is there any hope in Indy?
Mitchell, there was no hope after they benched Matt Ryan because you thought when you thought Sam Ehlinger was the answer for a national football team in the National Football League, you thought, oh, Matt Ryan's not getting it done. Sam Ehlinger, he's gonna really. If Matt Ryan's not getting it done, your team's not getting it done. Just go ahead and wrap it up. It's not him. Like, he can make his mistakes, he can turn the ball over, but it's probably because that highly paid offensive line is a bust. They're playing like bums right now. Like, they're not playing well. The guys that you expected to play well are not playing well. You're paying them a lot of money, and they're getting beat, and they're beat up, and they're injured. And so you're putting a lot of blame on Matt Ryan, and it wasn't his fault. Now they're just firing people. You fire Frank Reich. You bring in Saturday. Now it's starting to all look like a joke. It's starting to all look like a joke, and Jim Irsay is running it like like a mom and pops.
The most amazing thing to me is the trajectory of Jeff Saturday, right? And I could see, having this Hall of Fame career, going to the media, and then transitioning to head coaching. I mean, Rich, this is something I can see you doing. I can see Pete Carroll going down in 5 years, calling it a career, maybe a couple of years, and then them saying, "Hey, Rich, can we have you as the head coach, as our interim head coach?"
I'd come in and have a blast. Hey, you need me for 3 weeks? I got you. We're about to have 3 fun weeks. Get ready for the top to come off the defense because we are running trick plays. I'm talking about we gonna do it all. We
just run the freaking triple option left and right.
We gonna run go balls, a hook and ladder. Hey, if your teammates near you, pitch it. Catch a curl, you go ahead and pitch it. Get going. Backyard, quarterback, like offensive line. Let's see how dynamic we can make this offense in the next couple of weeks. But this is a crazy move. It's unprecedented, and I'm sure the league is going to have something to say about it because, the Rooney Rule that they don't really care about, but you're supposed to respect.